The banks are not in the business of deposits. When you deposit money into the bank, your money isn't safe. It's an illusion. You're lending your money to the bank. That's why you get an APR. As soon as you get that 0.1% return,
a pretty low one.
As soon as you get that 0.1% return, or if you get a money market account, maybe 5% return, the money that you've deposited becomes a liability. So what you see displayed on your application bank account is merely a receipt of what the bank owes you. So when you swipe your card, it's not that you're spending your own money. It's that you're pre-authorizing the expenditure that the bank is covering, and then with what they owe you, they'll cover the balance. So if the bank is not in the business of deposits, what's the business of the bank? Well, the business is in the bank of fractional reserve banking. That's what we hear. Well, banks don't fractionalize reserves. That's not what the bank does. Okay, so if the bank is not in the business of deposits or fractionalizing reserves, what is it in the business of? It's in the business of credit creation. That's the name of the game. Most of the money that's created in the space, in the markets, is credit creation. Banks are in the business of buying and selling equities. So they make a margin, they make a fee. Their job is to be the middleman. Their job is to create credit. 90% of the things that we see around us have been propped up by credit. The issue isn't credit. Credit isn't a bad thing. It's when you create credit that has no GDP or no real growth value attached to it. So if I get a credit, for $10,000 Louis Vuitton bag, and I spend that, there is no real GDP. There is no real stimulus or growth. It's just an expenditure. That credit creation is what is causing banks and the trust in banks to erode, because people are realizing, hey, we've been told that banks keep our money safe, but there's bank runs like Silicon Valley Bank, which is a huge bank.
Yeah.
So clearly we can't trust them. They're not in the business of fractionalizing reserves like we've been told. They're in the business of credit creation. So once again, if I leave my money in the bank, am I betting on their team? Am I betting on their narrative? Do I think banks are a winning narrative or a losing narrative? Losing. 100% losing narrative. Do I like their team? No, I fucking hate their team. So why would I keep my money with them? Why would I invest with them? And why would I believe in the fact that they're the future of the narrative? They're not. Banks, once again, they're a business. They're not this financial hub of keeping your funds safe. For most of history, banks
you probably still
were
need
small.
Some money in the bank just for liquidity, but
I mean,
savings, right?
Yeah, but once again, that's insignificant. People that have 90% of their money in cash and think that they're safe, that they have savings, they don't realize that that's not how money works.
Yeah.
It's not what money does. Money is not there to be saved nowadays. If it was 100 years ago, you could save money. If you were in Rome before they started peeling the edges of the gold coins just to devalue it so that they could make some new coins, if you were in Rome before that time, before the devaluing of the currency, you could just save.
Yeah.
After the devaluing of currency, you can't save. So we're in a situation where we can't save money. Now, we think about it in dirhams, USD, British pounds, like the top currencies. We need to think about the guy that's holding fucking Zimbabwe dollars or the lira or the fucking who knows what Turkish, I think it's Turkish lira. They're all shit coins.
Argentinian pesos.
Argentinian peso, all of it garbage, going to zero. If I was saving in any of those other currencies, if I was saving in the Japanese yen, I'd be broke. So what do we do? What do? You need to find a better vehicle to preserve your money and to preserve your purchasing power into the future.
So I think, obviously, if you've already made money, that's hard assets like Bitcoin, real estate, gold. But
Even
I believe...
No. It starts at the basics. Even if you're making $1,000 a month, remember, we're talking about the saving gap. If you have a gap of $50, okay, that $50 in 5 years is not going to give you the same purchasing power of $50. It goes down to the dollar unit. It's not just about insane amount of money, because once again, imagine being like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go into the gold mines. I'm going to collect a ton of gold, but I have no plan on where to deposit or what to do with it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You have to start with the end in mind. The end in mind is, okay, wealth preservation, freedom, long-term longevity. You want to know what your purchasing power is going to be worth in 50 years. Okay, well, where do you hold your money? It needs to be a scarce asset that's highly valued, that's fungible. That's non-fungible. And that gives you the ability to transact and remit without a middleman. And today it just happens to be Bitcoin.